Yo. What's going on? What's going on? It's that time again. It's your boy Miles Cunningham, and I'm on here. I'm privileged to be on here with the boy Ed Zone. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all check out his YouTube channel and go visit Normal Brands for the clothing. You understand what I'm saying? What's up, Ed? What's going on with you? How you feel?
Hey, what's going on, Miles? What's going on, chat? Salute to the mods in the chat. Salute to the people in the chat who want to improve and have a positive mindset. I got much respect for that. So thank you for having me on your panel. Once again, Mr. Locario and Miles. What's good, everybody?
Yep. Facts, man. Yo, shout out to Unique 79, one of the best moderators in the business. Yes. You know what I'm saying? My man is in a whole different time zone. He over there in the UK.
Yes, he is. Yo, he's 5 hours ahead.
Yeah, and he makes time. You know what I'm saying? He makes time to support the movement, man. Shout out to him, man. Really appreciate you. Don't ever get it twisted.
79, much respect, bruv. Much respect, bruv. All the way out in London. Much respect, bruv. What a respect. Brilliant, smashing.
Shout out to Chris Lon Jackson up in the building. You know what I'm saying? Really appreciate it, man. But check it out. So today we're going to talk about fear, right? And, you know, I did a couple videos on fear myself. And, you know, I was talking to Ed behind the scenes, and he was saying, you know, we need to get to the root of the problem. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of these issues that guys have when it concerns life, when it concerns self-improvement, when it concerns women, and all of the challenges that we face in general, right? And a big part of that is fear. So, you know, shout out to Ed Zone again. You know, he's the one that came up with the topic. So we're about to go in. So Ed, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like a lot of. First of all, I want to give respect to all the callers who call up to your show, you know, Locario, Steve Dean, all of that, because these are guys who recognize that they have a problem, that they need help, and they're calling and they're willing to learn and improve. So I got to give a big salute to those guys for doing that, right? Now, the thing is, a lot of the issues that guys have with women and in life in general is based on fear. But first, we got to look at what fear is. What is fear, right? Fear is the opposite of confidence, which seems pretty obvious, right? Confidence is trusting yourself. Confidence is trusting yourself to make the right decision at the right time, say the right thing at the right moment, do the right thing at the right moment, even if it's difficult and even if you might be scared to do it. That's confidence. Fear is the opposite of that, right? Fear is not trusting yourself. You have zero trust in yourself. You do not trust yourself to say the right thing, do the right thing, make the right decisions. Right. So you have a lot of males walking around nowadays filled with fear. Right. They're scared of women. They're scared of their boss. They're scared to say the wrong thing at work because they don't want to lose their check. They're walking on eggshells around everybody. They're scared of their family. They're scared of their friends. Their friends want to do some dumb shit. They go right along with it, even though they don't want to do it because they're scared. And they think that having half a friend or some lame ass friends is better than having no friends. Right. So you got people out here who are constantly run and ruled by fear, right? To the point where they'll see a beautiful woman or woman they think is beautiful, and they want to, you know, approach her. They want to get something popping. They want to put on the grill and stick their fork in her, but they're so scared to approach her because they don't know what to say, right? They're like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. She's so bad. She's a bad bitch. I don't know what to say. She's another species. She's on another level. I don't know what to say to her, right? So that fear paralyzes them. And what a lot of people think is that fear will keep you stagnant, but it does not, because in this world is constantly moving. It's constantly rotating, constantly going around the sun. There is no such thing as stagnation. You are either moving forward or you're going backward. And fear puts you in reverse. Fear puts you backward because you don't make any moves. So you, instead of staying in the same place, you go back further and further every single day with every single move that you don't make. And that's just part one of what I got to say. If anything you want to add, Miles, feel free to go.
Yeah, that's facts, man. That's facts. Like I really appreciate the part where you said about it keeps you moving backward because, you know, time only moves forward and the rest of the world only moves forward. And for every guy out here that's scared to make moves or scared to make decisions, you know, you have other people who are not afraid to make decisions, and they make decisions and they progress. You understand? And then, you know, the sad part about fear is that it's the type of negative energy that builds on itself, because with fear comes, you know, things like envy and hate and other low vibration, attitudes and behaviors, right? Because, for example, if you're afraid to do something, but like I said, you have other people who are not afraid. And even if nobody else is afraid, the fact is you're afraid, and you leave yourself stagnant while the world continues to move on, right?
Right.
What's going to happen is that if anybody else gets enough courage to make the move, instead of focusing on yourself and realizing, yo, I got to get past this fear, you're going to start looking at other people who are making moves, who are willing to deal with the consequences of their actions. And many times they're going to make progress, because even if you're not successful, when you make a move, what happens? You gain new information through experience. And with that new information, you have more ammunition to help with your overall goal. You understand? Right. And that's what a lot of people don't value when it comes to, when it comes to fear, when it comes to making moves, when it comes to certain things. Because it's like, here's the thing. Every time you decide to take action, something's going to happen, something good or something bad. But the bottom line is something happened. You understand? When you don't take action, nothing happens. You see what I'm saying? When you don't take action, nothing happens. And if nothing happens, there's no experience. And with no experience, there's no wisdom. There's nothing to learn. There's nothing to gain. And there's absolutely no progress. Because what people don't understand is that even taking an L means progress. Because you tried something and it didn't work. Now you have information about one more method that doesn't work. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's always a finite amount of ways to do things, right? So if you try one way and it doesn't work, now you have information that shows you, okay, this way doesn't work. So that means you have to try the rest. And somewhere along the way, you keep trying, things are going to begin to happen as you gather information through experience. But if you do absolutely nothing because of fear, then you stay in one place, you stay stagnant. And then instead of being focused on yourself and your own progress, because you're stagnant, it leaves you time to sit there and start looking at other people. You understand? And start worrying about other people, what they doing. And then, that's when the hate comes in and, oh, well, this person doing that and he's crazy and he's stupid and he's this and he's that. And why am I not getting this? And why am I not getting that? And why is that person so lucky? That person ain't lucky. That person just made moves. You understand what I'm saying? Like I always remember, Lucario always put me onto this thing where he was like, how do you fit a giraffe into a refrigerator? And he was like, you shove the giraffe into the refrigerator, you close the door. You know what I'm saying? Now, the average person is like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Because first of all, the giraffe is much taller than the refrigerator and his legs and stuff is probably going to be sticking out. But that doesn't really matter. The point of the matter is there was something that needed to be done, and we made moves toward it being done.
Right.
Now, if something isn't right, if something isn't perfect, then we can revisit it. But at least now we have something to revisit. You understand? Before I shoved the giraffe into the refrigerator and tried to shut the door, all I had was a refrigerator and a giraffe. That's all I had. I didn't try to combine them. I didn't try to fit the giraffe in. But now that we made a move, now it's like, okay, cool. Pieces of the giraffe is sticking out. So how can we fix this problem? Because here's the thing. When you're face to face with an issue or a problem, right? Mm-hmm. If you take no action because of fear, you only have that one problem. Right. You understand what I'm saying? But at least if you take action, it can lead you into a new problem, which can either lead you closer or further away from your goal. However, the fact is that things are moving, things are changing as a result of action. You see what I'm saying? So being afraid to take action only leaves you in one place with the same problem.
Bingo, right? And on top of that, right? Overcoming fear is one of the best ways to learn about yourself, right? To learn how when you can overcome fear, when you can literally face fear head on, you can learn so much about how you're going to react and act in different situations, right? Like, for instance, I went skydiving for my birthday 2 years ago. Right. 2 years ago, I went skydiving. I'm in the plane. The plane is circling around slowly over everything to the point where the houses look like little Tic Tacs and the trees look like ants. Right. And that thing is circling. It's going higher and higher and higher. And the dude is like, the instructor's like, hey, in a few seconds, I'm going to push you off. He's like, in a few seconds, I'm going to open the door and put your left foot on that little ledge outside the window. And I'm going to push you off. I'm like, you on what? He's like, I'm going to push you off. Son. So like, then they go to the countdown, 10, 9, 8, all the way to the 1. He flings the door open. The wind is like flapping, 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 flapping. I'm like, okay, here is the time for me to see how I'm really gonna be and feel and like react in the situation, right? I put my foot on that ledge. He pushes me off. I'm tumbling through the air, right? I'm tumbling through the air. I'm like, yo, and in my mind and like in my ear, I'm hearing the guy, and I'm thinking he said, "We almost died," and then, but when we like stabilize or whatever and start getting into like the free fall, I'm like, "What'd you say?" He's like, "You're doing great." I'm like, it didn't sound like that's what you said the first time, but so we falling, right, and they tell you to fall like a banana, like with your head up and your feet back and all that. So I say all that to say this, like in that time, I thought I would be terrified, right? But I felt nothing because I accepted the situation, right? I accepted that this is what I chose, and I accepted that this is where I was. Like I'm thousands of feet up in the air. So me falling, this is all this thing that I'm feeling right now, tumbling through there, all that's expected because that's what I chose to do, and that's where I am, right? And another thing too, like not only can overcoming fear build your confidence because now you're getting new accomplishments, you're getting new experiences and learning more about how you react in different situations, but fear is something that prevents you from taking the responsibility of being who you truly are, right? Because you're so scared of how people are going to react to you. You're so terrified of how people will react to what you say. You're so terrified of being ostracized from the group and being alone, right? That you use fear as a way to try to protect yourself. And that's one of the craziest things. So, like, one thing that I notice is that a lot of people use fear to sacrifice their identity for an idea. So I'm gonna say that again. A lot of people will sacrifice. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. We're gonna rewind it. A lot of people will sacrifice their identity for an idea. Now, what do I mean by that, right? Because of fear. Look at the red pill community, the whole manosphere, right? Yes, there's some little logical bits and pieces here and there that they talk about when it comes to different truths in terms of the interactions between men and women, but most of it is completely based on fear. Its foundation is fear, which is a weak foundation, right? So you got a lot of these guys who are scared to really be themselves and scared to really take accountability for the faults and the problems in their life. So they switch and they get rid of their identity and their individualism for an idea, aka the red pill. That's why you see all these guys on the internet talking about I'm red pill, I'm red pill, I'm red pill, I'm red pill, to the point where it looks like a cult because they all have the same talking points, they all have the same beliefs, they all sound exactly the same. It's like a book that I read a long time ago called Brave New World, right, by Aldous Huxley. And it's similar to 1984, but it's like even more disturbing in a lot of ways. And a lot of things, one of the things in Brave New World was a lot of the people would look exactly the same and say exactly the same things because people weren't encouraged to learn independently and learn and form their own opinions. They were told whatever the government wanted them to believe, that's what they were told to believe, and that's what they went along with. And a lot of people, what they were doing that in that dystopian type of world is they would affect a lot of the babies were born in test tubes, so they would like put certain things in certain test tubes to have like A class people and B class people and all that to basically predetermine the type of person you would be once you grew up by what they put in the thing. And it got to the point where a lot of people it got to the point where a lot of people would literally look exactly the same, to the point where if you saw one, you would see them all. They would all look like clones of each other. They would all sound exactly the same, think exactly the same, move exactly the same. And that's what we're seeing nowadays online, right? With a lot of these guys who live on the internet out of fear of going into the real world and having real experiences and actually approaching real women and forming their own opinions based on their own experiences, right? The few times that I've been on the show with you, Miles, right, I've used some of my own real world experiences. Because I go out there and I talk to people. I talk to women. I talk to old people. I talk to children. I talk to people. I talk and talk and talk and talk because that is how I've learned a lot of things. And that's how I've gotten a lot of experiences that I'll never forget, right? Now, you have all these people who are stuck in perpetual victimhood because they are scared to be themselves, right? And it reminds me of a line from one of my favorite rappers. He's in my top 5. Lupe Fiasco, dude is in my top 5. He got a song called "Words I Never Said," and in the last verse, he goes, I think that all the silence is worse than all the violence, right? Fear is such a weak emotion. That's why I despise it. We're scared of almost everything, afraid to even tell the truth. So scared of what you think of me. I'm scared of even telling you. Sometimes I'm like the only person I feel safe to tell it to. I'm locked inside a jail in me. I know that there's a cell in you, right? So like that's what a lot of people are on, right? They're basically prisoners of themselves.
Right.
They're prisoners within their own cells, right? There's a cell in me. There's a jail cell in me. I'm scared of what you think of me, right? I'm scared of even telling you. Like, so you got a lot of people who are so scared, like I said before, to be kicked out of the group that they will go along with what everyone else is saying without even thinking about it, because the responsibility of being themselves and standing on their own principles and forming their own thoughts, whether they're popular or not, is terrifying to these people. And that right there is stopping your progress. That right there is stopping your growth. That right there is destroying you as a man. You cannot call yourself a man if you're terrified of what other people think. You cannot call yourself a man if you're terrified of being out of the group. Sometimes you got to think that having no friends is better than having half-assed friends, because there's a lot of dudes right now with half-assed friends, right? They're going to the club and they're going to the bar and all these stuff with these half-assed friends who secretly can't stand them, but they would rather have lukewarm company or a half-assed company than no company at all.
Right.
That's that fear of being alone. But when you learn to appreciate your own company, that's when you'll start to attract those real people in your life, right? A lot of people a lot of these people are so fake. Your reason why you're running into so many fake people who are your frenemies is because you are afraid to be who you really are. When you are who you're truly meant to be and who you really are, you're going to attract people around you, friendships, relationships, otherwise, who have a similar mindset to you. Not that who will agree with you on everything, because you don't want that. You want people who challenge your points sometimes, so that you can, learn to defend your points better, or maybe open your mind up to other points of view. But when you are an authentic person, that's when you will meet more authentic persons and your circle will become smaller. You guys said something very interesting the other day on one of your episodes. You were like, people who have a whole bunch of friends are flexible people, right? They bend and sway with the wind to go along with the crowd. Right. And that's not how we're supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be unmovable, rigid, and unshakable in who we are. That's one thing that can never change. Our ideas could change. Some of our beliefs could change, but who we are fundamentally as a person should never change. And the only reason why so many people change like that is because of fear of what other people think about them, fear of not being included, fear of being left out, trading their identity for an idea. And that is a terrible thing to do.
Facts. Nah, that's real, man. That's real, because, something, to add to that is, there's this thing where everybody is searching for a place of comfort. You understand? Yes. Everybody's searching for sanctuary. Everybody's searching for peace. But the crazy part is that nobody wants to do the work to create that peace. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like everybody wants to feel secure. Everybody wants to feel comfortable. But nobody wants to build a house.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because I would, just like you said about the idea, it's like a lot of these cats, they get on YouTube and they see all of this, all of these philosophies and these communities coming up.
Right.
So it's easier for them to, rent out a room in the house. Nobody wants to build
their own house.
Nobody wants to take nails and wood and start, tapping away at lessons and ideas and, experiences and different things. Because I don't know if anybody notices. It's like, I try not to make it like a echo chamber. You know what I'm saying? I get with guys who have a similar perspective, but I try not to let it be an echo chamber, because a lot of us still have different views on, different perspectives, even on the same topics.
Right. Right. Which is good.
And there was a quote in the Game Kings documentary that Rosebud said. He said, you can have 10 men in the same room and there's one question and all of us have an answer, all different, but all correct. right? Because since I'm basing my answers to the question off of my experience, that's what's honestly true to me.
Yeah.
I'm not basing my answer to the question off of statistics and narratives that have been laid out, basically houses that have already been built.
Right.
I'm not subscribing to the houses that have already been built. I'm not trying to rent a room in a house that's already been built. I'm building my own house. Right. You understand? And if my second floor kind of looks like yours, then so be it. But you know for a fact that this is a house that I built. And now that I have built this house, I can take comfort in what I've built. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't try to take comfort in a community that was already there. Right. I don't try to, too many of these cats, like shit, even what's going on now. There's so many, shout out to Kevin Samuels, but there's so many Kevin Samuels residual YouTube channels now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Where it's literally, and here's the thing. I don't necessarily agree with everything Kevin Samuels said, but the bottom line is he built his house.
Right.
And he don't have to go take nobody else's content and bolster it and talk about how this and that and that and this and use that as a whole basis for their YouTube channel. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But see, that's the effect of fear. Because it's like, well, I'd rather follow the masses because it's comfortable, it's easy, and
it's safe. Yeah,
and it's safe. You understand? So if a couple of people say that this is wrong, I got numbers. So it's like I don't have to pay attention to the criticism because I got so much people agreeing with me over here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I can feel like I'm a part of something.
Right.
But the thing is, you can be a part of something on your own. You understand? Because you, from the day you're born to current day, that in itself is an institution, right? Because we're all made as individuals for a reason. Each one of us individually are an institution, and the truth is that there is value in that. But a lot of people don't recognize that. A lot of people want to, like you said, sacrifice their own unique identity that is God-given or nature-given or what have you. They sacrifice that literally so they can blend comfortably into the house that other people built. You understand? Yeah. So if something goes wrong with the house, guess what? I could blame that guy and I could blame that guy. Be like, oh, so this pill was wrong from the beginning? Oh, well, it's not my fault because I came in following him. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
If I say something and somebody come get at me for it, like, for example, notice that when somebody comes on the channel, many times you hear them say shit like, yo, this question is specifically for Miles.
Yeah. This
question is, I'm directing this directly at Steve. I'm directing this directly at Lucario. We all on the same panel. But when you have a question, somehow you still have to make it specific to that guy. Why? Because we're all on the same panel talking about game, but we're still explaining our own truths.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And all of us have to stand on our own independently on that and the only place we can find comfort is not in each other, but in ourselves as individuals. Right. You see what I'm saying? And that's a very important thing that a lot of guys don't get. A lot of guys don't get that. And with all of those things coming together, it just shows that there's a lack of value, period. It's just a lack of value because the reason why you don't think you can stand on your own is because you don't believe in the value of your own individuality.
Right.
You understand? So imagine you can't stand on your own in a room full of dudes. So you can't stand on your own and you can't stand on your own in front of one female. You understand what I'm saying? And as it keeps going on, it just gets sadder and sadder and sadder.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, like lack of trust. They do not trust themselves, right? They don't see value in themselves. Their self-esteem is non-existent. It's not even low. It's just not there. So because they don't trust themselves, because they don't have that confidence, right?
Mm.
Right now they want to, like we've been saying, latch on to the hype, right? Oh, and here's an example of how you can tell that. Okay, so a lot of these guys like who live in a fear-based reality,
Mm-hmm.
when they do, let's say if or when they do muster up the courage to approach a woman, right? A lot of times they'll start with that small talk. That's one of the biggest symptoms of fear. You small talk a woman who you actually want to like stick your fork in. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You want to put her on the grill, flip her over, stick your fork in her. But
Right.
instead of telling her that in a creative way, you go up and you start small talk. Where you from? What do you do for work? You come here often? All that stuff, right?
Right.
And here is how women react when they smell that fear on you. They ask you questions like, what do you do for a living? A lot of times when you approach a woman out of fear, being super indirect because you're scared to tell her what you really want, she will ask you that because she already ruled out sexual attraction to you. That's gone. She already knows she's not attracted to you like that. So she's going to try to say to, in her mind, what else can she use you for? Right? She's going to try to put you in another category of, can you take her out to free dinners? Can she get money off of you? Can she get free attention? Could you use you to drop her at the airport? Could you use it to fix, things around her house, fix her car, stuff like that? She's going to try to figure out what other category she could put you in because she knows for a fact you're never going to see her naked, right? So because you're approaching with that fear, right? Because you're approaching with that fear, you're starting to get all these curveballs from women. You're starting to get all this these first dates where you go for the kiss and she turns her head away, or she goes, oh no, that's for the second date, or no, I'd rather take it slow. Because you're constantly approaching with that fear, you're hearing, I'd rather take it slow. You're getting flaked on. You're getting all these things time and time again. And like there's a YouTuber that I listen to, and he says this often. He goes, how you do one thing in life is how you do all things in life. So if you're scared when you approach women, you're going to be scared in the workplace. You're going to be walking on eggshells at work. You're going to be scared to ask for that promotion. You're going to want to start your own business really bad, but you'll be scared of failure. What if it fails? Oh my God, 95% of businesses fail within the first few years. I don't want to be a statistic. So you're going to be afraid to step out there, do what you want to do. You're going to be like, investing. I don't want to buy crypto or stocks because I could fail. I could lose all my money. And you're constantly stuck in that fear cycle. Right. And all the while you're going backward, and people are out competing you, dominating you, moving ahead of you, gaining more power, gaining more slices of the pie over you, where everybody can eat and you should be eating too. But because you're so scared, you're starving, right? Your spirit is starving, your soul is starving, and you're scared to do anything about it. So every day you go to work, right, to that job that you hate, and you go home, you watch Netflix, you play a little video games, you fall asleep, you wake up the next day and you do it all over again, all because you're scared to really take charge and redirect the course of your life, which you have every bit of power and every ounce of power and every ability to do, right? And it's like when you're so steeped in that fear, you're basically cannibalizing yourself, like you're eating yourself alive. When you're steeped in fear, you're eating yourself alive. They say, cowards die 1,000 deaths and all that stuff. Every time you don't seize that opportunity that comes your way, and not just talking to women, because obviously this is bigger than women. Every time you don't approach that woman, or every time you don't take that opportunity to take that vacation where you could meet somebody who gives you a business idea, or that you could start a business with that changes the rest of your life, or every time you don't go out and realize that idea that you came up with that could change your life, every time you just pass up an opportunity saying, nah, I could go wrong, and every time you focus on all the million things that could go wrong instead of all the million things that can go right, you eat yourself alive. Autolysis, right? Autolysis is the scientific word for digesting yourself. You are eating yourself alive. Every time you don't take that chance that could really take your life to the next level and really give you that success and happiness that you're starving for.
Right. That's facts, bro. Facts, man. And to add to that, like with that part when you talked about your soul, I just want to remind cats. I did this video, like 3 months ago called "Understand This One Thing to Erase Approach Anxiety," and I started talking about how your soul has no form, right? Your soul is like the truest aspect of who you are, because your soul doesn't have ego. Your soul has no form. So you're not worried about how you look. You're not worried about how tall you are. You understand? You're not worried. Like your soul
Right.
doesn't care about what's going on in society and how people are going to look at you. Your soul literally has no fear.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Fear
Right.
comes in when you start to look at ego and when you start to look at the vessel, meaning the flesh, the physical body. See, I was trying to explain in that video about how the reason why a lot of guys get feel fear and get afraid when it comes time to approach a woman is that it's like fear becomes an indicator to your soul that this is something that you need to do, right? Because your soul is starved for experience. That's all your soul wants. Your soul is the truest part of who you are, and all it wants to do is use this physical vessel to experience life.
Mm-hmm.
So when you meet up upon a thing that makes you afraid, it's literally like that's literally when your soul begins to get more excited. Where it's like, oh shit, he's afraid. He's afraid. I want to see what happens. Like your soul wants to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when you say, nah, I ain't gonna go talk to her. She probably got a boyfriend. That's not the reason why you didn't go talk to her. The reason why
she looks mean.
The reason why you didn't go talk to her is because you're more comfortable not going to talk to her because now you don't have to deal with the unknown.
Right.
But your soul was super excited in the moment, and then you let your soul down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that instead of your vessel being an outlet for your soul, the physical vessel becomes, like you said, a prison for your soul, and your soul feels like it's trapped. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a huge thing when it comes to fear, man. That's such a huge thing. But again, I like to keep these videos fairly short. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want you to, if you have anything else to say about it, you could go ahead and wrap it up. And I just want to reiterate that video on my YouTube channel is called "Understand This One Thing to Erase Approach Anxiety." But if you want to go ahead and wrap it up, you know what I'm saying? So we could
no doubt.
We can make them miss us till next week.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, Miles. But like I said, I don't always just want to focus on the problems too. I want to give a little solution. So to guys in the chat who might be living in fear, might be steeped in fear, you can write down your own positive attributes, because sometimes you got to remind yourself, what are the good qualities about yourself? Sometimes you got to write it down. Hey, what am I good at? I'm good at video games. I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at whatever. I'm good at math problems. Even if it might seem minute or minor to you, still write it down just to remind yourself, like, hey, I do have value. Yes. I do have something to contribute to the world. I do have something that I can add to other people's lives. Write that down, right? And then, maybe you might not have major accomplishments yet. You might be young. You might be 18 to 24, whatever, and still in school, college, whatever. But still, go out there and start talking to people, getting experiences, and start getting accomplishments, right? Once you start getting a lot of those accomplishments, you should have confidence anyway, but that will solidify your confidence, because now you got tangible proof, like, yes, this is what I'm capable of. Look over there. Look right over there. That's what I did. I did that, right? Now, when you start having that tangible proof of what you're capable of, now your confidence will start to soar even more, and your trust in yourself will be so solid, right? That fear will there will be no room for fear in your mind, right? Because your trust in yourself and your love for yourself will be so strong that you're like, look, even if I do let myself down even if I do fail at this task, that's not really a loss. That's a lesson. I just took a lesson out of that failure, right? So that's going to make me more prepared and better for next time, right? So, start writing down what you're good at, today. Start writing down goals that you want to accomplish. Give yourself a certain amount of time to finish and accomplish those goals, and remind yourself of the value that you have. And on that note, I also want to add my YouTube channel is Edzone, EDDZONE. It's a self-improvement channel. So I cover a lot of different topics, from dating to improving yourself as a man to, ways to learn and implement different things in your life. And also my nutrition series, where I go over foods that will help you live a healthy, happier, longer life, improve your vitality as a man. Because I think the reason why a lot of dudes are having trouble with women nowadays is because they're eating foods that are blocking their masculine energy. And that's by design. That's a whole nother topic for a whole different day, but a lot of dudes are being blocked by what they eat, right? So I got a bunch of videos on testosterone-friendly foods. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a thank you video. And the first 3 people to comment under that video, I'm doing a free giveaway. So I'm either going to give away some of my books or some goods from my normal brand store. All you got to do is email me and tell me what you want, and I'll send that to you. And I'll make sure you get that delivered quickly and ASAP. And I'm running a 20% off sale on all goods in normal brands until October 17th. All right, so definitely enjoy quality stuff. I'm wearing one right now. It says create, constantly reinvent everything, and think eternally. So definitely enjoy that. Check out the links in my pinned comments on my videos for all my normal brands, my book links, my Instagram, all of that. Every pinned comment has all the links that you could need. All right, so once again, Miles, thank you for having me on your panel. Guys, get rid of fear, destroy it, yo. That is your biggest enemy. Love yourself and trust yourself, because if you don't trust yourself, you don't respect yourself. So you got to respect yourself, and that's how you will trust yourself. And that's all I got to say, man. Great talking to you, Miles, as always.
Facts. Yo, listen, guys. Again, appreciate everybody in the chat. Unique79, you're a rock star, man. Appreciate you. Freelance Ronin.
Respect Unique.
You know what I'm saying? Nathan. Who else? Kenwood Drive, Ricky, Jungle, True Savage in the building. You know what I'm saying? Don Coolio. Appreciate all of y'all, man. Ed, you know what it is, man. It's always a pleasure, man.
Yes,
you
sir,
stay
always.
safe. You know what I'm saying? Be good. Keep the philosophy, keep the game coming. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure these dudes really appreciate it, man. So thank you. And remember, guys, the truth is inside you. Peace.